Welcome to another episode of For Footballers Only. I'm Mike Idiokitas.
I'm James Benet.
Welcome. Footballers Only is brought to you by DC11. As you can see, James is wearing the fly DC11 hoodie.
Yeah, I'm wearing the culture, man.
Look at that. The logo tee.
Shout out to Non-Culture.
Yes. You see the glow in the dark. It's glowing. It glows in the dark. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know what it is I've noticed in America, coaches love to talk about specific players that they develop, like, you know, like, and kind of take credit for it. Whereas it's like outside of America,
it's a whole village thing.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's rare you would hear somebody like, you know, usher those words. It would be like, you know, I was a part of their development process. You know what I mean? Like,
what we'll say is that kid play over here.
Yeah,
that's exactly what people say. They never say, "How is it that kid play over here? He played over here."
Right. It'll be like, yeah, he played here for, you know, and it could be like, it could be crazy. You could be like, he played here for 8 years. Yep. Like, he literally played here and then he left and went to Europe or wherever. Yep. But they won't say. And yeah, and I don't know. Every time I hear it, it's a strange thing. But it's something that is like, it's a known thing here. You know, like, who did you develop? You know, like that's the question, you know?
Yeah.
And then, okay, so that's one part of it. Just that piece. The other part is that, how do you even take credit? Like, okay, is it if a kid plays with you or you train a kid, I don't know, 5 times? Do you know what I mean? Let's just say they hire you for 5 sessions, you train them, and, you know, that kid gets busy, whatever, they go, did you develop them? Or is it where, you know, like the kid plays, you coached a team that the kid played on for a season or multiple seasons, and then you say you develop them? Or is it if someone is in your program or with your team, whatever it is it a timepiece where, you know, they had to stay with you for 3 years, let's just say, you know, and then transition? So, like, those are all questions that come to my mind when I hear people talk about it. I'm always like, okay, how long, for instance, like, if we just want to say, okay, let's just say you developed them.
Yeah.
How long was that process? Was it 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons? You know what I mean? Like, or is it like, was it, you know, like extended period where even when the kid left and went on to other pastures, it still came back to you, you know, for, you know,
more session,
more training, better, like more development.
I think when it comes to mind, for me, I think it's long process, right? I think, like, there's no way you're going to develop a kid, and then if you have 5 sessions or this, and that kid will be developed. But I think, for me, I think when you teach the introduction from that level, right? Let's say from pre-K, from kindergarten, and then till they get into like 5th grade, you still have them, right? I think you can take credit from that because you were the first coach or whatnot, or the first people that introduced them. Just the education, even if it's not even a technique or whatever, just to understand what the game is and the culture of the game or the history of the game, right? I think a person should have a credit for that. If someone bringing a kid, that kid is a pre-K, you know how hard it is teaching this kid, right? Yeah. And then you teach them how to dribble, how to score, and understanding how to pass, and then they excel when they get into high school. I think for me, I think that's what here in the US, I think that's what people will take credit. And also, like you were saying before, like back home, like we say it's a community thing. Oh, that kid play here. It's true. No one say like, oh, we did this for him. But I think because here, everyone's trying to figure it out, like what is the best way to play football here, soccer here. So everyone's taking credit. I think I'm the one that can do it here. I'm the one that will make the US get to the World Cup. So it's my credit. Because we haven't got to that level where Well, oh, that's like basketball. Shoot, man, that kid just ballers in PG County. He's supposed to be good, right? So I mean, I think that's what it is, because there's no, I don't know, there's no platform or what a development player is, or like a player that's ready.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, you're saying if you should take credit for the development if you introduce them to the game, and if they stay with you for an extended time. Yeah. So when you say that, you mean 3 years, 5 years, 1 year, 2 year?
3 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least you're saying the criteria to take credit is at least 3 years, somebody stay with you, and or you introduce them to the game. Those should be at least the two, right? You either introduce them to the game, or they stay with you, for 3 years. Yeah. Okay.
I think the introduction is interesting, because once you introduce the kids, when they love it, they have the passion. Even if they leave you, that's going to stick with them. Yeah. If they have with a different coach, they're going to keep applying, keep learning, because they have the passion, they have the love for the game. So that's the key point of it. Is very important for me in that beginning stage, right? Because that's when it's fun. If a coach can really make it cool and interesting for the kids, and they can tag along, and I think that coach should take that credit.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you handle when? And I mean, you know some of these situations firsthand. So you introduce the kid to the game, or you coach them for 3 to 5 years, train them, etc. And like, you don't go around screaming,
nope,
I developed that kid or whatever it is, but the next guy over that, the kid just played with him, 1 season or a year or whatever it is. Yep. And it was just like a bell and whistle type situation where they just went for the shining lights.
Yeah.
It's taking full credit for that person's development.
Yeah.
How do you one, how do you handle that? And two, what do you suggest people to do? Because this is like an unspoken thing among coaches, right? Like, especially in the DMV, it's like a known thing, like people who put in a lot of time with certain kids, the kids, then the kids, become more established.
Yeah.
And then they go to someone that seems shinier.
Right.
And then that shinier person says, I did this.
You're right. I think it happened a lot here, but the way I would handle it is like this. As long as if that kid is excelling, he's improving and getting to his goal, right? If that coach want to take that credit, if he continue what I started with the kid or whatever, and he's doing that as well, and he's taking the credit, that's fine. Because when we develop kids, it's not for us, it's for the kids, right? So I'll handle it. If the coach is taking that credit, it's fine. But I think one of the things is, I think that kid would never forget how we started. From every kid I started from at a young age, I think they would never forget who taught them the early age of the game, right? So I'm not stressing about that. So I think that's how most coaches should handle that. If you care about the kid development, then if somebody else is taking all your hard work you put into this kid is taking that credit, and look, if that kid is advancing and getting better and better, you should be happy anyway, right? Yeah. What about you? How will you handle it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the same thing. So, I want to, maybe we can do another. I've written a few pieces about this, about why do I coach, right? And the way I view coaching is in that same vein where, first, I don't understand the idea that someone, like one person, would take credit for someone's development, right? Because you don't even have to think long about it to understand that the process, one, is a long process, and there's so many variables that external variables, right? Not so the variable that we haven't really even discussed is that you can be the most amazing coach and trainer and whatever it is, but if the person, the kid, the person you're coaching and providing all these drills to, if they're not if they don't have internal motivation to improve and be their best, it's not going to happen.
Nothing matters.
Yeah. So, and then you flip that where if someone, we've seen these kids, and these people, and a lot of us were these people as well, right? So it's like we're in situations where there were very little external motivation or even opportunities, and yet we were able to make this diamond out of nothing. You know what I mean? So,
I know.
Yeah, no. So the thing is, so it's like, the idea. So for me, those situations where like I don't understand the concept of taking credit for someone's, or sole credit, I should say, for someone's development. For me, I'm just glad that I happen to be in their pathway, the kids' pathway, as they were going along their journey, right? And my sole goal is that I added some value to their experience in their journey. Because the idea that, like it's like, what am I doing that is so, out of this world that, you can't find from another coach in, say, on the East Coast of the US, before I even say, in the entire world. Do you know what I mean? Like, so really for me, I feel privileged. I feel privileged. That's why, like, if you remember, like Friday Futsal's, for instance, right? Like when those kids will come through. Like for me, I'm excited to be like, just to be a part of that journey, like to see them come through and ball, get busy and enjoy the game, etc. It's not like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know why? I don't know. You need any one of those kids.
Why Peter? Let's go, Peter.
You know why Peter is a baller today? Because I had him at Friday. Like, what? No,
every Friday.
Yeah, he was with me every Friday. So for me, it's more so like the joy is being a part of their journey. I agree. And kids who really, or people who really, are really interested in excelling. And being just providing, because I've been through some of those things, and so I can help them along the way, so that they don't have to necessarily make some of the mistakes I made. In their journey, they can learn from my mistakes and learn from the things I did right, and add that on to to their journey.
Like, to add on that too, right? Like going back home in Europe and all that stuff. So when a player excel in the game and in development, like the whole community is happy. I think because people have the passion and understanding of the game, right? So it's like this kid is getting better, not just for one individual, but he's getting better for this whole village, sometimes this whole city, this whole country. So because that's the backing behind the understanding why it's so important for this kid to get developed. So most people understand that I'm not the only one. So many other people, because this is a village thing. So do it. So that's the understanding there, because it's in the DNA. Everyone understand. If this kid develop, we all happy. We all make it to the world. So that's how people.
It's like, it's just the journey. Like, you're excited to be, like for some of those, like speaking of back home and Europe, etc. For some of the excitement is just being in that same neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like just like knowing that, like, like we used to play at this, in this area together, like, and they're not saying that, oh yeah, because of playing with me, that's how they became this all-star, because like the reality is there's so many moving parts, right? So there's kids and there's people. Let's not even talk about kids. Like we all know people who had ridiculous talent. Like just, it's just like, how? Like they get like, as it pertains to football, they could do things that you're just like, wow, this is. And one, they got that with very little formal training. That's one. Then two, with very little effort.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is the irony of a lot of this, right? Like,
that's true.
So there's and then some of those same people, and probably is probably the reason that they didn't go far.
Yep.
Because they were so good and it was so easy.
Yeah, it came easy.
And they never so there was never a need to work at it or really pay attention to the development process, etc. That's what I was saying, the other day about if you look at you want to go back home, look at look at the ballers in Apong in Wea's class.
I know.
I tell people Wea wasn't the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Diva was,
Wea was not the one.
Yeah.
But his work ethic was insanity.
Yeah.
People it's like, I mean, I lived it. I was there and I saw that with my eyes. But then, later on, also when you just look on a national, global scale, you see, even everybody talk about say, with Portugal, for instance, with Ronaldo and Ricardo Quaresma, right? Yeah. Or Argentina, you got Tevez and Aguero and Messi. Do you know what I mean?
What's his name? Riquelme.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Right? You have Tevez, I mean, just ridiculous talent. But yet, these other guys, in the same class, kind of went way up and just is a product of, their work ethic.
Yeah.
So it's not just the natural talent piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once you so my point is understanding that in itself would, I think for me is humbling because I wouldn't even, because once you understand that, you're okay, obviously there's a lot going on that to make someone, this superstar, whatever it is not just me doing some drills with them or, providing some motivation or whatever it is. A lot of there's a big piece of it being internal. And then there's so many external forces that's helping, to make that. Yeah.
To add on that, how you mentioned, how was so, the work ethic, and all those other guys had the talent, but they didn't have the work ethic. So that's, I think, like we were saying, it's a process. That's what each coach bring a different experience through that journey for that kid, right? Some coach can be teaching that kid how to be how to care about the sports and stuff like that. Another coach can teach that kid, you have this talent. If you don't put this work in, it's going to go away, right? So that's why it's important that whatever that kid, that player meet, whoever that coach is, each coach is bringing something to the table. So once you understand what you bring into that process for that kid, then then you focus on what you're trying to do for the development of the kid.